Hi everyone, it's Maddie, and today we're going to be discussing Winter by Marissa Meyer. Bear with me, I haven't done a book talk, in about a year. Winter is the fourth book in the Lunar Chronicles series by Marissa Meyer. It is one of my favorite, if not my favorite series ever. It is so utterly intelligent and well thought out. It's just wonderful. Honestly, I don't have many other words to describe it. No, I probably do. It's phenomenal, it's fast-paced, the characters are amazingly well developed, the plot is fantastic. I'm not going to tell you everything about the first three in this series because I do have reviews, but if you haven't read any of the series, I suggest starting with the Cinder book talk and then, reading them and working your way up to this one. This is the fourth book in the series.
It's wonderful!
I give this a 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads and probably like a 97% because it is a super hella rad wrap-up. It's one of the best books I've ever read. It's a little long, it's about 820 pages, and so it's got a lot of meat to it, but it's definitely worth it because it's amazing. A long book, but it's definitely worth the read. It addresses everything that was started in the first, second, and third book, and it wraps everything up nicely. Oh, it's wonderful. If you've read this series and you haven't read this one yet, I suggest that you read Fairest because I read Fairest 2 weeks before I read Winter, and it really helped with the backstory for Winter and for Levana. It gave Levana a lot of development. It was really nice. It was really short. It definitely wasn't my favorite of the Lunar Chronicles series. I wish there was more because I love hearing villain stories, but I guess her story is sort of short. This book, Winter, is told from Winter's point of view. She's a princess on Luna, which is the Moon Society. She is sort of crazy. She sees things, and that's because she doesn't use her lunar ability, and so it makes her go crazy and have hallucinations. It makes for a really interesting prose. You don't know what's real or not real when she's having an episode until she calms herself down and realizes that's not doing that thing. This isn't really happening. I'm okay. I would just suggest that if you haven't even picked up this series yet, you do it because it's action-packed and it's quick, and the books get bigger as they go along. Cinder is, I think, 300 pages or so, and so it's one of those things that you can just speed through, and you can get to Scarlet, Cress, Winter, and the whole series is out, so you can just marathon the whole thing. That'll probably be best because then you'll remember everything. I read Cinder the summer before I started freshman year of high school, and I'm going into my junior year of high school, and so I spanned 2 years of reading these books. I read Cinder and Scarlet back to back, but then I read Cress like 6 months after all of that, and then I read this like a year and a half after I read Cress, and so I don't remember anything from Cress at all. So if you haven't read this book, I recommend that you go, you read it, and then you can come back so we can discuss it. If you haven't read it, leave. Come back after you've read it so I don't spoil you because I really don't want to do that. Thanks. Bye. Now, I don't have a fan cast for Winter, but her voice to me, as I was reading the prose, was Luna Lovegood's voice. Because she's so spacey and airy and light, but she's also very intellectual and understands things. She says these really odd things. I think she calls Jocelyn a goose. Look out for the nargles. I read this book in about the first or second week of summer, and I had a job operating a spotlight in a musical. I'd bring it with me before rehearsal started, and I would read it. And then during intermission, I would read it. And then as soon as I got home, I would read it. I would wake up and I would go outside and I would sit on a towel and tan and read. And then I would go to work, come back, read, and I couldn't put it down. And I was so happy because I finished it after reading it for about a week. The reason I was on the edge of my seat so much was that everyone almost died. I got to a point where I thought maybe a couple of the protagonists would survive, but not with their significant others, and not everyone would survive because there was no way that all 8 of them could survive. They did. Kept reading it and I was like, oh god, Cinder's gonna die. Oh, Cress, she's dead. She's gone. Thorn, oh, he's dead. Wolf, gotta go. Scarlet, of course she's not gonna survive. And I got to a point where I was just like, Winter's dead too. The only person I don't think I ever feared for their life was Jocelyn. Everyone got themselves into a life or death situation. Cinder, most of the time. She was captured and had a gun held to her head, almost died at a trial, jumped off of a balcony into water, almost drowned, lost her like cyborg abilities, and then was stabbed in the chest. I thought we were gonna have some Allegiant moments here, and we didn't. Thank God. Her and Levana are having this exchange where they're both manipulating each other, and so they both have guns to their heads, and then Levana's like,
I surrender, just don't hurt my face. I'm just so pretty, don't hurt me.
Cinder, for some stupid reason, I guess this is where her 16-year-old shows, she just accepts the surrender as if Levana is going to be okay with being prisoner and not being the queen and the empress. But then of course, Levana freaking shoves a knife deep into Cinder's chest. Then Cinder's like, and then there's a knife in my heart. And I was like,
A what? Who? Knife life and who? Cinder in me in her?
I think I might have been at the rehearsal for the musical I was spotlighting for, and I was sitting before the rehearsal started reading it, and I immediately felt tears spring to my eyes, and I was like, I can't do this right now, I can't. I don't even think the next chapter is from her point of view, so I was like, Cinder's dead. Cinder, she's dead, we're never gonna have her point of view again, she's dead, but she wasn't. I want to talk about all the couples, because I feel like if I talk about the couples, I'll adequately discuss most of the plot points throughout the book. About Scarlet and Wolf, I don't really care that much about their relationship. I feel like it's too quick, but I guess of all the relationships, we needed to have that one that was like feral almost in the need to be together, and I guess that goes along with his wolf instinct. Throughout the book, Wolf was in a lot more control, which was really nice because in the first few books when we met Wolf, he was out of control and couldn't be manipulated by Cinder, and so everyone else could manipulate him, and so suddenly he was on their side, and other times he'd be fighting for the enemy and want to chew one of their heads off, which isn't really helpful in war because you need to have strong people like him on your side and not fighting against you. But he was really focused in this book because his objective was to find Scarlet. It was so short-lived. They had each other. They turned him into Scary Wolf, which now I can only envision him with like a snout, like a wolf face. That's just so creepy. How does Scarlet kiss him? At the end of the book, they kissed, and I was like, but there's a snout, and there's a mouth, and the snout goes. Now that he's Scary Wolf, he has a need to eat flesh, and Scarlet has flesh because she's a human, and I don't know how that's gonna work, especially when they decide, oh, let's go back to Earth together. We'll like have fun with the neighbors. It'll take them a while to get used to you, but it'll be fine. I don't know how fine that will be. I really liked Wolf's mom, and I really liked how she was the one who sort of started the revolution in the sector. I loved seeing everyone slowly start to become for this revolution to overtake Lavanna, because they all hated Lavanna, but all of them were just way too scared to eventually do anything about it, and then they did, and it was radical and fabulous. Jocelyn and Winter, again, I wasn't super in love with the ship. He was rude, like he was outright rude to Scarlet and to the other members of the Lunar Squad. I did like that Winter brought out the nicer sides of Jocelyn, but I just wasn't the biggest fan of his character. I did like how he treated Winter. She had her moments where she completely broke down and apart, and he was there to put her back together, and it was really, really nice. I really liked the part where Jocelyn and Cinder were in the space submarine, off-roading through the zero-gravity moon. That was really fun. One thing I really liked about this book is that it has humor in it. Despite being like an intense, action-y book where people are getting stabbed and murdered around every corner, it still has humor in it, which I really like. Thorn is a really good source of this humor. So is Aiko. Aiko's a really nice source of humor, especially when she would walk into a battle scene and then one of the thermometers, or the soldiers would shoot her and she'd just be like, hey, I'm still here. I was confused as to why the Lunars were so against androids when their people can literally manipulate human beings. Oh, we draw the line at artificial intelligence, but let me manipulate your brain so that I can take over your brain and essentially make you a robot. My second favorite pairing in this series is Kai and Cinder. I really loved seeing their relationship arc through all 4 books and them finally coming together. It takes them a while to get into the groove, but they acknowledge their feelings for sure in this book, and that's nice. I really get frustrated with relationships where they both obviously like each other a whole lot, and they're like, I don't know about it. I felt really bad because Kai had to be the distractor. Throughout all of this, he was the one who had to bring himself to Lavanna and say, look, let's get married, but on Luna, and then let's do this thing, but on Luna. I really do like Kai, and I like that Cinder is the fighter in the relationship. He's still an awesome character who has amazing resolve and is really helpful in battle, but he's the one who's the good speaker, and he's the diplomat, and he's the one who's going to discuss his way out of things when Cinder will just like punch her way out of things. I also really loved at the end when he was talking to her and she said that she wanted to dissolve the lunar monarchy, which really helped to resolve the whole issue of her living on Luna as the princess and him living on Earth as the emperor. That's a little far to be doing a long distance thing. She wants there to be a republic. She wants there to be the people voice instead of just a singular person deciding, hey, we're gonna do this, this, and this. She wants people who are right for the job to do the right thing. I also really liked how awkward She was in her fancy dresses. The part when they all brought in a cake for her before she had to go to her coronation, when Kai got down on one knee and she was like, don't you dare pull out a ring, and he gives her the metal foot. It was just really cute, and I really enjoy their relationship. I think it's nice. The only one that's a stable relationship in this book. And finally, Cress and Thorn! I love Cress and Thorn so much. Mostly because I absolutely adore Thorn. I imagine him with like dark hair and eyeliner. It was just ridiculous how shy Cress was in the beginning of this book. He'd be like, hi Cress, and then she would like look away or run away or just hide somewhere. Even after his eyesight came back, she wasn't excited to talk to him or anything. I mean, she was nervous and wanted to talk to him, but she was afraid that he wouldn't like her or wouldn't think she was pretty. He's a flirt, so he comments on every single person in the room except for her. Cress was just like, I'm just gonna be his friend. I'm just gonna stay his friend, and I decided that I'm gonna be his friend. Friends. That's really helpful when they have to be each other's dates at the coronation party, because we still have all of that romantic tension. They're buddying it up, just two gals being pals, and Cress loses him around a corner and she comes back and he's making out with some woman. He says, I think I'm in love with you, and Cress is just like, oh my god, this guy is ridiculous. He will never ever end his flirtatious ways. He just met this woman, how can he be in love with her? He finds her and he's like, Cress, she was glamored as you. Cress is just like, whoa, no. They finally kiss. I usually don't like
We're gonna kiss amidst the battle because we've had so much tension the entire time that we're gonna take 5 minutes out of fighting, out of this vital time to kiss.
One of them was gonna die and they were never gonna really kiss, and then it would be sad. But then of course, Thorn gets captured and then Cress gets captured. Cinder and Thorn were in the throne room trying to fight Lavanna, and Lavanna kept making Thorn step closer to the edge of the balcony. About to step off the balcony, he looks at Cinder and says, tell Cress I meant it. I was like, Cinder was really confused, but I was like, Kai and Cinder will be together as soon as they dissolve the lunar monarchy. Scarlet and Wolf go back to France because they think they can function together, with Wolf being part wolf and like scary wolf. Cress and Thorn are together as their little pilot buddies. Jocelyn and Winter are essentially together on Luna, except Winter is going to get that plate in her neck and head to stop the lunar sickness, and so she won't get the visions anymore, so she'll probably be more stable, but also probably still a little kooky because, you know, I don't think that ever really fades. Also, Lavanna is insane. After reading Ferris and knowing why she did the things that she did, she's insane. She tried to murder children because they were prettier than her, 1, and 2, because she was afraid of them taking the crown, which was crazy. She would stop at nothing. She glamored herself to Cinder so that Kai wouldn't kill her during their wedding. Kai was so close. He was probably an inch off of her chest when she glamored to Cinder, and he couldn't do it. She stabs Cinder in the chest. She keeps Scarlet prisoner, makes her cut off her own finger. She makes Thorn stab Cress in the stomach. She gives Winter that poison apple candy. Okay. Winter is so gullible for thinking that Jocelyn was there. I was like, why would Jocelyn be in the lumber sector just because? Why would he be there? And then why would this old woman say, oh, your boyfriend gave me candy? No, Winter, no, that's stupid. Once Lavanna started talking about the crazy mutated plague that affected not just humans, but lunars too, I was like, oh no, oh god. So she unleashes it on Winter, and then Winter gets it, and then Scarlet goes to help her, and then Scarlet gets it. Great, Scarlet's gonna die. Scarlet and Winter are gonna die, and everybody's just gonna die. That was my discussion of Winter. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. If you read this book, let me know. Tell me down in the comment section what you thought of it, and we can discuss it because I'm dying to discuss this with other people. I'm trying to get Gabby to read the series, and she still hasn't read Cinder yet, and I don't know anybody else who's read the whole series, and so I'm just dying here knowing everything about this series and hoping that like somebody else reads it or it becomes more popular or it becomes a movie or something, because I need to discuss it with more people. It's such a great series. I'm Maddie. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!